Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user Dr. Anonymous 15. My 30 male best man, 31 male, stole my wife, 30 female, and I think he's back to take my girlfriend, 29 female. 6 years ago, I, 30 male, was getting married. My best friend, 31 male, Judas, fake name to protect identities, was my best man. I was getting married to Leah, 30 female. Our friend group was very, very close. There were 8 or 9 of us, and we always did everything together. Days out, game nights, holidays, etc. Anytime a friend would bring another female friend into the group, Judas would end up hooking up with them, as he was genuinely just naturally very funny and charismatic, which is a big part of why he's everyone's best man, but he was never a threat to our relationships because we were all such good friends. Just over a year into our marriage, Leah and I start having issues. I'm in the army, so I'm at camp through the week, returning home Friday evenings and leaving again early Monday mornings. This meant we only really got weekends together and I'd always want to spend them with the group. And she'd mostly want alone time, just the two of us, as she will have seen the group through the week. This, amongst other things, caused a lot of arguments and we ended up separating. While all this was going on, 2 of our friends, Judas's cousin Andrew, 29 male, and his fiancée Phoebe, 29 female, were 3 days away from their wedding day. Judas, of course, being his best man too. When Andrew confessed to Phoebe that he had been cheating on her with a co-worker for 6 months, so he could not go ahead with the wedding. On what would have been their wedding day, a couple of us went to Phoebe's for drinks to take her mind off everything, and her and Judas slept together. Worst best man ever. Those two had always been very close, to be fair, but we were all very surprised finding out. They apparently drunkenly did it a few more times over the next month before deciding to end all that. While Leah and I were separated, I'd still be trying my best to resolve things and work it all out, but she was slowly getting less and less interested in the idea of us. I later found out this was because she was spending all her time with Judas. They had gotten into a relationship and he was basically living in the house I was paying half the mortgage for. Worst best man ever. When I found this out, I angrily texted him, "You're dead to me," to which he replied solely with an image of the word goodbye highlighted in a Ouija board. Naturally, Leah and I went through the whole divorce process, and her and Judas were happy in their relationship. Judah, Leah, and Andrew were all out of our little friend group. The rest of us went out to celebrate when the divorce had finalized, and Phoebe and I ended up hooking up. Fast forward to now. Phoebe and I have been in a relationship for 3 years now. Leah and Judas have split up. She's now with some other man and he's single. Andrew has gotten married. He actually made it to the altar this time. And yes, Judas was his best man. So who knows what's going to happen down the line with the worst best man and Andrew's new wife. Now, the issue. Yesterday, I wanted to surprise Phoebe. I set off to camp early Monday morning like I always do, except I've booked this week off in secret. I waited for her to go to work and then I came back to decorate the bedroom with flowers, her favorite chocolates, etc. I park my car a block away so she doesn't know I'm home. When she comes home, I surprise her, but I see that she's on FaceTime. I'm 90% sure the face I see is Judas's, but she very quickly ends the call. Early in our relationship, she drunkenly confessed to me that she thought her and Judas would have ended up together after what would have been her wedding night, and that she was sad when he ended up calling that off for Leah. So my heart sank. She told me that it was just her brother on the phone, but I don't believe her. I had also surprised her with a trip to Disneyland. She's always wanted to go in the near future, where I had planned to propose, but now I'm unsure if I should go through with this. If Judas has managed to worm his way back into her life, I need help. I don't know what to do. I've been at my parents awake all night and I'm dreading going back home to have a conversation. Do I confront her on this or go ahead with the planned trip and proposal and feign ignorance for a happier life? I'm sorry this is so long. I have left it as short as I could, There's 6 years worth of drama I've tried to condense. Wow, OP Judas is, an overall sucky person. Absolutely disgusting. But it's also a face I'm pretty sure you wouldn't easily forget. In my opinion, there's one way to solve this thing quite quickly. Call the brother. Now, I don't know what type of relationship you have with him. If you don't have a relationship and you think he would lie for her, then maybe you want to find a way to get around that so he tells you the truth if he was talking to her or not. And if you have a good relationship with him, just be upfront and tell her, hey man, I need to know this. And based on that, you can at least confront Phoebe with some hard evidence. Of course, it doesn't prove that she's in a relationship with the best scumbag man, but it definitely proves that she lied to your face. And if she lied about one thing, she can lie about a lot more. So I'd start there, OP. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section. And now let's check out the community comments. Little Lemon Candy says, bro, what the F? Come on, man. None of these people are worth your time. Keep contact with whoever you need to for the time being and get the F out of those people's lives, man. You deserve more. And Dopey responds, I think you're right. It's just difficult, you know? I truly care for her and a few of the others. I legit don't know how to make new friends in your 30s too, man. Constant Humor 181 says, I mean, you could always have asked her to see her FaceTime call list to see who she was really on a call to. Then you know who it was, and that should help you know what to do a lot clearer for you. But this whole group seems like a toxic incest swingers group. And Opie responds, this is a good point actually, because then even if she deleted Judas from being there, the lack of her brother's name being there will be just as much proof, yeah? Relaxative666 says, quote, do I confront her on this? End quote. Yes, you tell her you swear you saw Judas on the FaceTime call and not her brother, and you had a bad reaction to it. Ask her to reassure you and show her FaceTime call history. If it was her brother, this misunderstanding should be easy to clear up. And Dopey responds, good point, and I'm sure if it was her brother, she'd be very understanding considering the trauma Judas already gave me. Damn, I'm gonna need therapy. Lord Mwahaha says, not to be that guy, but to be honest, you treated your wife pretty poorly from your description. You literally never wanted to spend one-on-one time with her, and then you were shocked she would rather move on than work things out on your timeline, because I guess everything had to be your way. You sound like an awful husband. Are you sure Judas doesn't just treat women better than you do? An appetite veggie says, friendship group incest is always messy. Why did you start a relationship with someone who nearly married your friend and then dated another of your friends, only dumping her to go after your wife? Did you try dating outside of this group? You're in the military. Don't you have friends there? I don't think you should propose and marry someone likely so closely to a traumatic period in your life. You really need and deserve a fresh start. I did try dating outside the group, but not properly. It was too soon after finding out about my then wife and Judas, and so it was more like spiraling down, if that makes sense. And I ended up with Phoebe because she was there for me the most and going through something quite similar at the same time. I have a couple of friends in the military, but we're not like super close. A few were invited to my wedding, but they never showed. They're good if I just want to go out, get drunk, and numb any feelings though. Not really the type to talk to about feelings. Well, mostly the community is leaning towards OP just getting out of there and cutting ties with the whole group because it sounds incredibly messy and dramatic, and I somewhat agree with that sentiment. Also with that user that called out OP for not being the best husband, that's a point too. In any case, let's move on with the update to see how this story ends. Didn't expect to get as many replies as I did, so I figured I reply to all here rather than individually. I've read all the comments, and first of all, I'd like to thank all of those people that gave me genuine good advice. Secondly, there seems to be a few things I need to clear up. 1. I am from the UK. When I refer to camp, I literally just mean base. I don't have to stay there for the whole week, but it's a 90-minute, 2-hour drive back home. I know that doesn't seem far to you Americans as you have to drive 2 hours to get off your streets, but it's long for me. 2. Nobody remained friends with Judas. I did put that in the original post, but a lot of people skimmed over it. Him, Leah, and Andrew all left the group around the time Judas's and Leah's relationship was public knowledge. 3. When I wanted to spend time with the friend group, Leah would have been there too, so I wasn't completely neglecting her. 4. For those asking, Judas kept his teeth because I literally have not seen him even once since I found out. Another point a few skipped over, Judas and Andrew are cousins, so they were always going to remain friendly and take each other's sides. 6. I didn't immediately demand to see her phone to check the FaceTime because I panicked. I went into fight or flight and clearly chose flight. Not really what you want from a man supposed to defend your country, but hey. 7. No, I don't know who Kel Knight is. Anyway, back to it. After leaving and going to my mom's, Phoebe had been messaging and trying to call, basically just asking to explain herself. I had said I'd be back later. After posting on here and reading and replying for a while, I managed to get some sleep. I'd been up all night. First thing I did when I woke up was call Phoebe's brother, explained to him my plan to propose, purely so he could be the one to break that to her when I chose to leave her. I also asked if he had been in contact with her recently. He said no. The FaceTime can't have been him then. I get back home, ready with everything I need to say, ready to call Phoebe out on her BS, but before I can speak, she hands me her phone, tells me I can look through, that she's deleted nothing, and that she'd like to talk and explain rather than shout and argue. There's nothing in the FaceTime call logs, but in her regular call logs, there's a Snapchat video call from Judas. I was kind of relieved that I wasn't just being a paranoid mess, but obviously my heart sank. She said that Snapchat was the only place she could find him because he was in her blocked list, so she'd just unblocked him. Sounds to me like Phoebe was the one that had gone looking to contact Judas. I read through a bunch of the saved messages on there. To be fair, it was mostly just boring chit-chat and talking about musicals. Stopped reading when I got to a message from Phoebe to Judas saying, "I miss you." I clicked on his profile to delete and block him for her and saw at the bottom of that page when they became friends on there, it was dated just a week before. So at least they haven't been talking again for very long, I guess. What also caught my eye was in the saved pictures, there was a picture of her feet. Phoebe claims that's from a long time ago. Apparently Snapchat still saves all the previously saved picture when you unblock someone. Does anyone know if that's actually true? I'm not too familiar with it. Either way, I deleted and blocked him for her. She then explained that she only re-added Judas because she was always feeling lonely with me away 4 nights a week and she just needed a friend. I don't know why our current friends weren't good enough for that, but whatever. She was making all the same complaints my ex-wife had been making before we separated. I've told her for this to work, she needs to keep Judas out of our lives. I've told her I'll look for work outside of the army and leave. I'm a mechanic there, so I assume I can find work in a garage or something easy enough. We spent the week together and it was fine. I'm now currently back at base. I've obviously put all plans to propose on hold. I'm not even sure I'll go back home yet. I'm also considering a new career, not just for her, but if I do decide to start new, I don't want my career costing me another relationship with someone better in the future. So yeah, definitely leaning to starting new and fresh, maybe even completely jump ship and literally just move elsewhere in the country. Probably still look for a work as mechanic somewhere too. Thank you all. Well, OP, if you're leaning to starting fresh, which would be my recommendation, I think you should still go and tell her face to face that you're over, turn around and walk away. Then there's no drama regarding closure or whatever, you can just cut ties and move on. So in the meantime, OP, here's wishing you the best. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user AmbitiousLiving5717. Am I the a-hole for asking my husband to go get me tampons? I, 28 female, recently had a fight with my mother-in-law Amy over the fact that I had my husband, 31 male, John, go get me tampons yesterday evening. I personally don't see anything wrong with this and neither does my husband. I'm going to give some context just in case some people are curious or need it. Ever since I got my period, I've had really bad cramps for the first 2 to 3 days of my period. Oftentimes, the cramps are so bad I can't move or it will make it worse. I've gone to several doctors about it and was recommended to go on birth control. I was on birth control for about 14 years, but I've stopped taking it because me and my husband have decided to start trying for kids. That being said, yesterday evening I was in a lot of pain due to my period, but was almost out of tampons and asked Jake to get some for me since I literally couldn't move. Jake, the wonderful man he is, said sure and went to grab me some. Jake came back about an hour later with not just tampons, but 3 grocery bags filled with things that his sisters, Mia, 33 female, and Mandy recommended might help. I thought it was incredibly sweet and I thought that was the end of it. Well, that was until about an hour ago when Amy called me to yell at me for embarrassing her son by asking him to go to get me menstrual products. She told me that it was inappropriate and called me an a-hole. After she hung up, I decided to call my sister and she told me that she didn't think I was in the wrong. Her husband told me he thought it would have been a bit embarrassing, but that it wasn't that big of a deal. I did ask Jake and he told me he didn't see why he'd be embarrassed about it. He said, I'm 31, not 16. So yeah, I don't think I'm in the wrong, but Amy's adamant that I am, and my sister told me to post here to see what others might think. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? No, OP, you're not the a-hole, and the next time your mother-in-law calls to scream at you, if it's not caught by your husband first and put in her place, then you just hang up, and you hang up every single time she calls to scream until she understands the point. Also, it doesn't really matter what she thinks. You and your husband are on the same page, so her opinion is irrelevant. That's it, OP. No, not the a-hole, and just hang up next time she screams. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Beachin Life 1 says, Jake needs to set his mother straight and tell her she doesn't ever need to speak to you like that again. And Opie responds, he did. He was sitting next to me during the call, but she didn't give a damn. Cat Jarman's Pants says, I'm a 50-year-old man, married with 3 daughters. I cannot imagine the circumstances in which I might be embarrassed to buy tampons, pads, liners, or anything else for my family. I wouldn't be remotely embarrassed buying them for a friend either. Your mother-in-law's just a massive bellend. She's a crap mother, and she's obviously got crap taste in men if she thinks a man would be embarrassed buying any of that stuff. Not the a-hole. And Broad Chemistry 1120 says, why would any dude be embarrassed? It's not like anyone thinks he's the menstruating. And frankly, it's not any of your mother-in-law's business. Why does she know about it anyways? And Opie responds, yeah, I agree, it's not any of her business. I think one of my husband's sister might have told her, but I'm not sure really how she knows. Alright, the community agrees Opie is not the a-hole. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Firstly, Jake did set his mom straight. We were watching TV when she called and he told her to kindly shut the F up and mind her own damn business. She called him brainwashed and disrespectful before hanging up. Second, we're not sure how she found out, but our best guess would be one of his sisters told her, and no, we don't think it was to be malicious or anything, they probably just thought it was cute. Third, Jake wants me to mention his mother didn't raise crap. She dipped when he was 8 to find herself and then popped back into his life when he was 15. Him being a decent human being is due to his dad and stepmom, not Amy. A few comments asked if she thinks he shouldn't buy toilet paper or tissues. To that he said, probably, but she'd probably have a cow if I told her I cook and clean too. Lol, she wouldn't like the fact he does face masks with me and braids my hair, either if she's bothered by this. If you're wondering why we still have contact with her, to that I tell you, we haven't received a message or call from her in quite a while before this. We send her a happy holiday message and see her sometimes during Christmas and Thanksgiving, but that's about it. We only really tolerate her for his younger sister Mandy's sake, and she's pretty close to cutting contact with her for her own reasons. Also, thanks for all the ideas for the cramps. I'll have to try some of them and see if they help. Well, Pete, there you are. Nobody thinks you're the a-hole, and you didn't either. And apparently, Mandy has seen the same as you guys and will be soon away from her. So here's wishing you guys the best. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Sailing Spark. Won't give me the card to get fuel? Enjoy the towing bill! I was just reminded of something that happened to me back in the early 90s. I was managing a warehouse for a furniture company. We were busy enough to keep a small 12-foot box truck and a pickup running around delivering all day. Part of my job was also deliveries. So even though I was warehouse manager, I did not have access to the fuel credit card. It was kept locked up in the boss's desk. This particular day, the truck was down to about 1/8 of a tank, something you should never do with a diesel. So I asked for the card to fill it up to make a delivery. The boss would ordinarily not have a problem with this, but he was out that day and I had to deal with the head salesman who decided that 1/8 of a tank was perfectly adequate to make this delivery. I could fill it up when I get back. So, make the delivery, and on the way back, the truck starts running out of fuel. It would die, and I would restart, and we could make it a mile, and it would die again. I get it into the station, and it dies as we coast in. Call the salesman. He huffs and puffs, and finally sends somebody out with the card about an hour later. We fill it up, and she won't start. We ran her so low, we pulled air, and the whole system needs to be bled. So the truck gets towed to the repair place and bled. They put in a new filter just to be sure. It's out of commission for 2 days, so we have to rent a truck. So all told, we missed all the deliveries for the rest of the day. Had to pay to have the truck towed and repaired and had to rent a truck. All because the head salesman had to be an a-hole and not want to give me the card. He got a serious chewing out over that, and never again did he give anybody any trouble about handing over the card. I wish I could say everything was roses over that, but he was always an a-hole and would find new ways to be an a-hole to us, but never with the fuel card after that. Well, OP, I guess he's going one lesson at a time. It's gonna be a long road for him. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.